Hello, beautifuls. Thank you so much for joining me in the forest today. It is a beautiful day to be in the forest. As a matter of fact, for me, every day is a beautiful day to be in the forest. However, it was not always that way. And when I started my spiritual journey, and my teacher recommended grounding and emphasized the importance of connecting to the earth, to that energy, to Pachamama, the dirt, the grass. Nothing about that felt spiritual to me. I resisted that. I didn't want to do it, and it was uncomfortable. And he explained how that is a universal healing energy, and that it might be difficult to connect with it because there are many layers that we have built upon to sort of separate us from that experience or that connection. And some of those layers are ours, we added them, and some of them are just from growing up in this society and from the way generations have thought. And we've had this gap between us and nature. And I wanted to talk about this today because the importance of nature on our awareness journey is vital. If we are trying to deepen our consciousness and increase our awareness, we need to connect with nature. Did you know that the vast majority of spontaneous spiritual experiences and spontaneous shifts in consciousness happen within the church or temple of nature? When we are in deep communion with nature, that is when these spontaneous experiences happen. That is one of the benefits that can happen when we're in nature. And of course, not all of us are going to have a spontaneous spiritual experience just because we took a walk in the forest. But I wanted to emphasize how important that connection is. And it is important because when we are in nature, it allows us to connect to the oneness of life, to see that interconnected web where we can all exist and do exist together. And when we can appreciate that in the aspects of nature, it's easier for us to understand the oneness when we look at each other, to know that we are one and the same. In addition, the more time we spend in nature, the more we become attuned to the intuitive knowledge within us and within the universal force. That's simply because we are an antenna. We are an antenna for universal energy. And when we commune with nature, what we're really doing is we're tuning in that antenna. We are sharpening our frequency. Now, as I said, I did not always like to be in nature. And my teacher emphasized the need for this connection. And so in our discovery together, we found that I was attracted to fire. And I enjoyed camping only because of the fire. And so I would use the fire as someone would use the soil or the grass for grounding. And I literally would sit in front of the fire and I would watch it and allow myself to get swept away, to become mesmerized, to a point where there is stillness within the mind. And the more I did this, the more it helped me peel away the layers of resistance to connecting to that universal stillness. And I wanted to share this because there are many people who hesitate to connect with nature. And I wanted to provide some suggestions on how you might ease your way into that connection, opening a door or a window just to let enough draft in so that there is a desire to connect. So Another connecting force for a lot of people, if fire isn't yours, is water. And it might be the sound of waves. It might be water running in a stream. It might be the rain. And these are all aspects that you could sit by in nature. And again, if that is still too much for you, you can listen to them. There are so many audios and videos of those sounds that you could listen to help yourself become still and to appreciate that aspect of nature. Another aspect is birds. Maybe it's the songs of birds. And again, you can listen to recordings, or you might put up a bird feeder and watch them come and listen to them as they make their happy morning sounds, as they're eating the seeds that you've provided for them. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe just sit and listen to the wind will help you to find that stillness, be it the wind in the trees or in the leaves, or maybe again, it be a recording. But these are just examples that you can use in order to help you take baby steps to develop that communion with nature. I thank you so much for listening to this perspective, and the invitation today is to commune with nature in some way, if you can, and if that is uncomfortable, to start the journey to discover what is your access point to developing that communion. Until we speak again, please be well.